Good evening, everybody. How are we all? Please let me know if you can see and hear me. Oh, I can hear myself. Let me get rid of that noise. I can hear myself. Let me see. The comments are live. We're over on Purge. Let me see if I can pull up the comments on D Live and VK as well. We do have a guest on this evening, although I don't know what's going on their end. So we're going to just crack on and see if they can join us. But let me know in the first instance if you're hearing and seeing me loud and clear. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. We made it through another week, which is an achievement in itself these days. I can see that we are live on Purged TV. No one's telling me if we're coming through okay, so I'm just assuming that we are. But if someone could answer that question. Brian D, thank you very much, Brian. I can always rely on you to answer the question. God bless you. And Kate is over on D Live as well. And Damien, good evening to you. And Arthur Burton is in VK. Well done in Southend. Loud and clear. Thank you very much, Arthur. Thank you. And God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. Right, let's see who's over on Purged. Lots of people. Angela's in. Good evening to you, my sister in Christ. God bless you too, Angela. And Marty, good evening to you, Marty. And to Merv. And Michael Walden, good evening to you and God bless. Scott the Prussian's in. Debs 51 is in. Good evening to you. Who else do we have? Clive McLennan. Sorry, Clive is in. Good evening to you. And Scotty and Mike R1. Wes is in as well. Wes Stover. Good evening to you. And Peter, Charles Hope. Good evening, my dear. I've just lost my place. The other Peter is in as well. And Krista Stritt. Hello, Krista. Thanks for tuning in. Who else do we have? Lady Matriarch is in. Good evening to you. Excellent. All right. I'm going to see if I can bring our guest in. I can see our guest. Let me see if I can bring him in. Let's get cracking. Hold on. Mr. Dowson, are you there?
I'm just about here. My headphones fell apart. The soldering broke, so I've got a wire running here. This is the wire. I can't touch it. So
Yeah, but I have a wire as well, so don't worry about that. What?
Don't worry about it.
What is this? What is going on behind you?
Do you think it's too much?
What is it?
It's a display of weapons, swords.
See, I've seen a photograph of you at a desk with loads and loads and loads of weapons behind you, and I thought that looked really good. But this, I'll tell you what this looks like. You're not going to like this. You're not going to like this. The Calvin, this looks like some sort of papish stuff. You know how when you see the
monstrant
with the Virgin Mary,
yeah.
That's what it looks. It's almost blasphemous. I mean,
no, this is the picture. See the picture? Right. You see me sitting at a desk like that with all the weapons. That's the picture behind me.
Oh right, okay. It's just been blown up. All right, well,
just been blown up.
You look like you've been made a saint. So
this is the only cross I've got. None of that nonsense for me.
None of that. Well, I wouldn't have thought so either. I'm just going to say hello to a few more people. Margaret's in. Good evening to you, and Jerry as well. Good evening. And who else? Lee is over on. I can't see him, but this microphone. I need to move it. Lee is over on D Live and Vincent is on VK. Oh, hello, Vincent. God bless you, my dear. Hello. And Danny Simpson is in as well. Danny says, well done, Jayda in Southend. It was a great campaign. It was. We're going to speak about that. And well done to Danny and to Merv and to all those and Hillary, all those who got involved in the campaign. It was excellent. So, Mr. Dowson, how are you?
I'm very stressed out with my shoulder breaking. Nothing worse when your shoulder goes. Common problem at my age, but there we go. The shoulder went. Couldn't hear a thing. The shoulder... It joins up the metal things for your speaker, but it went kaput, so I've got this rigged up thing the techie guy rigged up for me. But I'm doing okay, and I'm rejoicing in your outstanding and magnificent victory in Southend. It was really good.
We are so excited. It's really funny, actually, because, look, obviously we've been very clear about the political route and our feelings about politics. But when I announced that I was standing in this by-election, and in particular, when I then went on to it to say what the campaign was going to be, I think there were a few people that thought maybe we know this woman is crazy, but she's gone over the edge, like she's lost her marbles. But even with some of the activists that were out campaigning with me and canvassing, we had a good chat about, and we've spoken on several shows about the thought process as a method to my madness. But it's been, the reaction actually has been incredible. Not just the result. The result is we're over the moon today. Anyone would think that we won. Seriously, like we're all celebrating today. All of our activists. It's like we've won. It's superb. So I mean, it was kind of. It was
you did win. Campaign. You did win because, despite you telling them not to vote for you, you beat most of the people in the election even won votes. But if you add up what the people who did what you asked them to do was spoil the ballot, you beat everybody apart from the people who won it, the Tories, but it was a Tory seat anyway. So you've won everybody. You were double. Your spoiled ballots were double what the second runner got. So that was this. Was it psychedelic party? Good God.
Yeah.
But what I found was interesting, Jayda. I mean, people think you're mad. Well, how mad is it? Imagine this. Imagine I get a man turning up in Las Vegas at a mob-owned gambling establishment, and the people tell him at the door, don't go in there because all the tables are rigged. But you still go in. The guy in the table says, this is a rigged game, and you still put money on. That's what these nutters are doing in the elections. Did you see Graham Moore, Daddy Dragon? Now, he's an awful idiot, man, if you ever met one. But he stood, I'm going to win, I'm going to sweep the board to get, 60 votes? 50 votes? 60 votes? UKIP are done and dusted, but they keep doing it. 400 votes. By the way, did I ever tell you I beat them in Airdrie? Anyway, all of these parties, they're wasting their time, but they keep doing it. That's the definition of madness. You're not mad. You've twigged quite quickly. This is a load of rubbish. The people who keep doing this and get the same result are mad.
Yeah, and I think it's all about managing expectations, because we've always said we use the electoral system, we use the elections process to exploit the system. Now, you and I know this only too well, because the first set of elections that we took part in as the British Freedom Party, obviously, you've been doing politics a lot longer than I have. You've been doing politics longer than I've been born, but we'll just leave that there. But you've certainly been in this game a lot longer than I have. But I've stood in many elections in the past under different banners. But for this party, our wonderful British Freedom Party, the first elections that we contested were in Scotland, your old stomping ground.
Yes.
And you and I stood in two respective constituency. You stood in your hometown, and I stood against the horrible ratbag, Jimmy Cranky, Nicola Sturgeon, purely for the publicity, purely to exploit the system. And what did we end up doing? We ended up chasing Jimmy Cranky down the street and calling her a Marxist. Now, I remember afterwards, right? I remember watching a stream that you did, and you were talking to your people about the election. Obviously, you were there with me, and it was great. It was incredible, really. I mean, it just couldn't have panned out any more lively. But I heard you say to your followers that the publicity alone, just from spotting her. Do you remember we nearly crashed the car? It was so funny. We're driving through Glasgow. You were driving through Glasgow.
Is that automatic? I can't work it.
I nearly did it the other day in my own one. But so for anyone who doesn't know the story, right? We're driving around Glasgow. We had the campaign car. So we had this loudhailer on top of the car. We're blaring out Royal Britannia. Obviously, like I stood in Glasgow South Side, which is it's just Nicola Sturgeon's turned it into a Republican and immigrant hellhole. Yeah. But there are enclaves of good, decent, loyalist British people, unionists. But anyway, we're driving around with unionist tunes playing, and we got out of the car to speak to some people at an Orange Hall, looked across the road, and there she is, Nicola Sturgeon. So I literally just thrust the phone at Jim and said, start rolling, I'm going to go and speak to her. And it was a completely off the bat carnage. It was funny. It was really funny. She was like a rabbit in the headlights. But as we jumped out the car so quickly, I was like, quick, come on, let's go. The car was still in drive. So the car was like going down the street. We could have got done for all sorts.
It was going up Blue Veil Street. It was heading towards smashing up the orange people's motors.
And it's not what you want. At least if it had been going in a different direction, we might have been able to say, we did that for a reason. But anyway, look, my point being, I remember you saying to people, and you've been obviously in politics and in marketing for a lot longer than I have, but to try and quantify that media attention that we got in that election, it would be like millions of pounds. Yeah. You couldn't buy it. You just couldn't physically buy it. So what I wanted to do is show yourself and some others some of the headlines that have been have been banded about today. Right, it's a bit of a frenzy, to be honest. It's quite incredible. So here we go. Let me see if I can do this because I'm a technophobe. There we are. We're both sort of either side of this because I don't know what I'm doing. But there you go. This is ITV News. ITV News Politics. Their headline is, voters in Southend West by-election spoilt their ballot papers in record quantities with a number containing messages rallying against Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And there's one of the ballot papers saying, get Boris out. So there's one of the headlines. That's ITV news, politics. Here we go. Here's another one here. Let's have a look at this one. This one here. The London Economic. Voters in uncontested Southend West election spoil ballot papers with messages such as Boris, do a Brexit, get out. That's brilliant. And then there's all the pictures of the ballots, right? The people that, because, like obviously they've all got to be counted, right? And they've all got to be looked at. I've been through the process. I think obviously we don't go to the counts now because it's unnecessary, but I think I can imagine it was quite amusing. And here's another one. This is the thing. The Daily Mail. The Daily Mail said, Boris, do a Brexit, get out. More than 1,000 voters spoil their ballot papers, including with anti-PM messages as Tories hold Southend West in by-election sparked by the brutal murder of David Amis, but it's Sir David Amis. So, I mean, that's just three of the headlines that I just grabbed quickly before we came live on air. This campaign, which, by the way, there's one of our leaflets with our campaign message. But our campaign to spoil the ballot is the main story out of this by-election.
It's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. I looked today before I come on, and it's everywhere. There's some of them are being genuine. They say, don't know how this has happened. This is unprecedented. This has never happened before. And they're genuine because they don't know your leaflet said that because they're stupid, lazy, mainstream media balloons. But a lot of them, like the BBC, know exactly. They know exactly what happened, but they ain't mentioning you. They're just terrified to mention you in case other people start doing it. But, it doesn't matter. It's good when your opposition goes deathly quiet, you've hit them where it hurts. So it's good to see, but it is the main story today, not the election. The main story is, and I don't know if you extrapolated those figures, but 1,000, that election there, Jayda, was 15,000 people took part in it. And 1,000 people spoiled the ballots, which is 5 times more than spoiled the ballot papers the last election. However, the last election, 65,000 people voted, and they only produced 250 spoiled ballots.
Yeah.
So if you extrapolated it to per capita, to be equal proportion, you'd be looking at 5,000 ballots spoiled.
Yeah.
And nothing like that has ever happened in British politics. Nothing, even like 1,000 ballot papers being spoiled in a small group like that. It's ever happened in this game. When Noah was a boy, I sailed into Glasgow on the Ark, and I've never heard anything like this. This is unprecedented. I mean, I don't know. I hope the viewers have got the wherewithal to understand what we're saying here. This is unprecedented. This is incredible. This is a breakthrough in politics. And you say, well, how can it be a breakthrough? You never get elected. We're not trying to get elected. We don't want to play the rotten, stinking game. No. What we're saying to them is, get stuffed. You're fooling nobody anymore. And 1,000 people, which is double the second place vote, said, yeah, we agree with you. And I think that's incredible.
I'll show some of the people in case I haven't seen. So this was the leaflet. So we did a full leaflet drop, right? I always talk about exploiting the system, the election system. And for those who aren't really sure what I mean by that, one of the privileges as a candidate standing in any election in the UK is that you are entitled to a mail drop. That's a full mail drop for every single household in the constituency, whichever constituency you choose to stand in. And Royal Mail have to deliver your leaflet. Now, you have to jump through hoops, as you can imagine. Royal Mail and the Electoral Commission set very specific guidelines on what you can and can't say. And we have to jump through many hoops, as you can well imagine. But this is where we really use all of our resources to really exploit these elections, because this is a great opportunity for us to reach the masses. And here's the
worth 50,000. It's worth just over £50,000.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely.
Yeah, 50 grand. 50 grand. $70,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, $70,000, £50,000
free
is what you would pay. Now, when we say it's free, obviously you have to produce the literature.
Yeah.
But to produce it and have it dropped by the Royal Mail is far cheaper than. I mean, imagine if we produced that amount of literature and then said, right, we're going to hire teams to go and hand them out. I mean, it would be 50 grand. So here's the leaflet that we use. So this is the front cover of our leaflet. This was our main leaflet drop, and we got this out to 42,500 homes. Every single home in the Southend West constituency received this leaflet. And as you can see, COVID-19 84, they partied while we suffered. And we just put some really stark images on there so that people can see, look, no nonsense, straight away. They knew what we stand for. We are the party. We're the Freedom Party, right? The clues in the label. And we've been standing up for freedom throughout this whole scam. And then the back page of the main drop, so this went to 42,500 homes, was our instructions to spoil the ballot. So we said if voting changed anything, the tyrants would ban it, spoil the ballot. And so that went, as I say, that went out to 42,500 people. And you were just talking about stats. In fact, before we get onto some stats, I've got a little clip here just to reinforce what you were saying a minute ago, because in case people didn't really follow that. So let me just give people this is a Tory stronghold. And we absolutely knew with complete certainty that the Tories were going to retain this seat, not least because they'll get the sympathy vote after Sir David Amess was murdered, right? So, that was a given, absolute given. They were going to win by a landslide, and they did. And then we had a protest vote came second on the leaderboard, right? The follow-up on the leaderboard was a protest vote called the Psychedelic Movement. And they stood purely as a protest vote, like the Monster Raving Loony Party do. They stand as a protest vote and say, don't vote for the old gang, have a protest, right? They got 500 votes. Yep. So here's the headline. Here's one of the snippets from BBC News. BBC News, they're all tripping over themselves. None of them can believe this. BBC News says turnout was just 24%, which was one of the lowest for a Westminster by-election since World War II. However, the number of spoilt ballot papers rose fourfold to more than 1,000, a figure higher than the number of votes of any of the minor parties and independent candidates. So, like you said earlier, the party that did come in second on the leaderboard under the Tories, the Tories got like over 12,000 votes, right? Yeah. We knew that was going to happen. The next runner-up got 500 votes. Yep. So our spoilt ballots was more than double the runner-up. So, and that's without the votes that we got. I wasn't even counting the votes that I got, because I told people don't vote for me, but those of you who did, there were about, I think there were 300 or 299. God bless you all. God bless you.
You've done better actually than all the other parties. You with your spoiled votes and your own votes done better than all the rest put together. And I think you need to mention that you've done double the votes of the anti-vax party, the Worldwide Freedom Alliance, which has got some big hitters, real big serious money people behind it. And they've done a big campaign, and we've just come out of the vax lockdown for 2 years. You get double the votes they got. They got a poultry vote. So, what does that tell you? It's really important. It's really important what you're doing. It's incredible. If you add your votes onto the votes that get spoiled because you told them to spoil it, you got more than all the other parties pulled together.
Wow. That is, when you put it, when you process it like that, stuff. So it is crazy. And crazy. So going back to what you said a minute ago about putting it into context with the previous election. So the last election in this constituency was in the generals in 2019. And as you said, 65,000 people voted in that. Yep. So 65,000 people voted in 2019 and less than 15, but call it 15,000 voted in 2022. So it's a huge difference, right, between 15,000 and 65,000. When 65,000 people voted, only 260 people spoiled the ballot. Yep. When 15,000 people voted yesterday, 1,089 spoiled the ballot. So whilst the BBC have said here, and they are correct, right? Although they're lazy. I love the fact that I saw online today. I think it was actually Nick Griffin said that the mainstream media are lazy, which they are. Whilst they are correct that the number of spoilt ballots papers rose fourfold, actually, if you put that into context, it's fourfold, yes. So fourfold from 260, but that's 260 out of 65,000. Yeah, I hope this is the point you were making earlier.
It's 19.7 fold. If you want the figures, I've worked them out. It's 19.7 fold, not 19.7%. It is 20/0.3. It's 20 fold. What's that? I don't know what that is. 200%. No, it's more than that. 2,000%. It's massive. That's how big it is in the scale of what we're talking about. It's 19.7 times the amount that were spoiled in the last one. So this ain't no accident. So you cannot say it's just a fluke of nature. Oh, no, it's because you put an extremely well-designed, beautiful leaflet out, hard-hitting, professional, all the tricks, all the bells, all the whistles. When these other idiots are still putting their leaflets full of nonsense. Full of nonsense. Vote for me because I'm really good. And I chase migrants up the Kent beach. Look at me. And They don't even have the brains to go and consult marketing people. Now, you've been in this game long enough. You understand the marketing. These people don't. They still don't get it. They still don't get it. Well, it just shows you the difference between somebody who gets it and somebody who doesn't get it is the difference between being successful and being a complete waste of everybody's time. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll show some of you guys in case anyone watching hasn't seen the leaflets, right? So this was the other one that we were putting through the doors. And again, massive shout out to the team. And this was the more controversial one. This is the inside of the leaflet. So basically, it was an A4 folded in half. There we go. I have it here, but my screen doesn't like it. So I'm going to show you the pictures, but here it is. So there we go. In the middle, it says, while the tyrants partied, families were torn apart by lockdown. 37,816 illegal invaders crossed the channel. The UK terror threat level was raised to severe. People were forced to die alone on COVID wards. And then we just pointed out what isn't conservative about the so-called conservatives. And that's track and trace apps and mass sackings of NHS staff and migrants in 5-star hotels whilst pensioners are freezing and 25,000 Afghan migrants. And then the front and back here, again, so on the front we had Boris with his pina colada, as you do.
Pina colada.
I love a pina colada. And then on the back was our instruction to spoil the ballot. And these leaflets, this wasn't our main drop, but we had thousands of these printed and distributed. And I know they were distributed because I was there with the teams. We were doing this. My legs are still aching from it. I shouldn't say that really. I didn't have to do a lot. I tell you, the lads did a huge amount of walking. The steps, one of them was counting the steps. It's incredible. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I just think, for me, I can tell when the establishment are rattled because, like, obviously the media is just an arm of the establishment. Yeah, we know this. And the fact that the main story out of this by-election is about ballots being spoiled. I haven't been doing this as long as you, but I've never seen that in my life.
Never. No, I've never seen it. And it's like this. I know how much money other groups spent, other parties spent on this election. They spent tens of thousands. It was incredible. But look, it's like we have a word for a petrol bomb. It's called a Molotov cocktail. Why was that? Because when the Russians were on the back foot and the Germans were all over them, they had the best tanks. The Russians didn't have any at that point. They had the air cover, they had the field artillery, everything. Still people fought. But it'd be totally stupid to walk on the street and take the Nazis on face to face because the Russians had no gear, no kit. That's like us standing in elections against the elites. It's foolishness. But the Russians still won. Why? Because they did guerrilla tactics. They made milk bottles and filled them with petrol and stuffed old rags in them and hid up in the rooftops when the tanks went by. Somebody jumped on, opened the tank, somebody threw the petrol bomb in. Bang. That's what we're doing. We're in guerrilla politics. We use the small and meagre resources we've got, kindly given by our people, and we make every bit of that count. Every pound, every dollar given is an effective bullet. We don't fire wildly into the air. We take aim and we take careful aim and we hit the target with a headshot and it really knocks them out. And I think they're reeling with this. And if you keep this up, you keep the momentum up, this is going to cause a big problem for them. And I think what they'll do is ban you. They'll say, you're banned. You're the only human being ever in the history of Britain to be banned from getting into elections. Let's hope they try it because that's a great case and I think you'd win it hands down. But that's where they're going to go with this because they don't know how else to react. You've really put the wind up them. So well done you, well done your team, and especially well done everybody watching this who got behind you with money. Because listen, without money, nothing happens. End of.
No, absolutely. And you know, actually, like we announced, we were the first people, I was the first person to throw my hat in the ring after Sir David Ames was murdered. And it wasn't because I was being impatient or distasteful, but I was so enraged at the response by the government after Sir David Ames was murdered by an Islamic terrorist. Prissy Patel went on to say...
He invited in him, Iyad. Let me just be clear on that. Well, he invited them in. So
I'm not arguing with you there. As you can see, I think that in the bottom hand corner might have caused a few issues after getting printed, but it obviously resonated. Our message resonated with people. And so we decided to stand in the election very early on. We announced it and said, right, we're doing this. And so we stood against the elite. And I said, look, we are standing against the elite because they need to be held to account. And you have to, basically what you have to do is you have to manage people's expectations. And I fear that, look, it's not for me to get involved in other people's politics because there are parties out there and they will probably just keep chugging away forever at this game.
Exact same. Yeah.
Yeah, and they will never change tact. But and with the greatest of respect, we were round the doors, teams of us were round the doors, and some of our activists, wonderful as they are, were saying, look at this leaflet that I just found. and I saw some of the leaflets that were going out, including a leaflet that said, don't vote for the racists. And it had my name was top of the racist leaderboard. So I won that as well.
Well done. Another victory.
Winning everything at the moment, Jim. We're on fire. But yeah, I mean, look, it's the same thing. Like it's the same campaign. And I feel for these people, because I'm not gonna lie, I've seen messages from yesterday, last night, or early hours of this morning and today of like really bitter disappointment and sadness. And I'm thinking, from candidates and parties alike, and I'm thinking, and there's us having a knees up, as Boris would say. But because we are reveling in the glory of what's just happened, because it was it was a completely different tactic. We knew what we were doing. It was very targeted. We were very focused on what we were doing. We didn't stray. It's very easy to stray and say, well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and, because all of the media were contacting me and asking for interviews, and I gave them all. I told them why I was standing. I told them what we were doing, and that was that. I could have got dragged into politics about, they were saying, what about this and what about that? And they want to pull you into all of these populist politics issues. But I could talk about that until I'm blue in the face. That was a one-horse race, right? It was a one-horse race. And the best thing we could do was trip up the horse or scare the horse, or at least the jockey. And that's
it's a rigged game anyway. Who cares? It's all right. Did you tell the people about you struggled to get your leaflets printed? Printers kept knocking you back, refusing to print them.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
and in the end,
carry on.
It was all a bit of a carry on, to be honest, because this one, this was the one that went out through the doors. We did a fundraiser for the main one, for the main leaflet drop, 42,500, which was superb, and God bless everybody who donated for that. Thank you so much. Everyone who got involved is responsible for the media hysteria and the meltdown in the establishment, so well done. Jobs are good. But this one, I couldn't release what I was doing because I couldn't get anyone to print it, so I didn't want to fundraise, and then by the time I couldn't fundraise for it because we couldn't get anyone to print it, so I was like, literally, this issue is running parallel, and if I don't get that printed now, it's going to miss the deadline. The team's going to be out. We'll have no literature. So it was right up to the 11th hour, and I ended up saying, "Listen, I'm gonna fund this leaflet right up to the last minute. I'm going to fund the leaflet and just see what happens, because I don't want to fundraise and then we can't get it." So I ended up buying thousands of these leaflets. Which, look, we all do our bit, right? And we all chip in what we can. I'm not Miss Moneybags, as you know. I've had all of my assets taken from me by the state and the Halal Food Authority. But yeah, I personally said I'm going to put, rather than risk it, I didn't want to risk anyone's money because they were messing us about so much. I'm going to put this down myself and get these printed. So I'm glad that I took that punt. I think it paid off. I do.
You see, normal people don't have all this. Normal people don't have all this aggro. The state forces and all the rest of it put pressure on us because they know we're effective. They don't really care about a lot of these parties because they know they're just daft. They're just dreamers, like that imbecile daddy dragon, all these people. Morons. I mean, I don't like calling people morons, but I've got to, look, I'm not being disrespectful to people, but if somebody's daft as a box of rocks, that's what they are. And the state don't bother with them. Why bother with them? They're going nowhere. But with us, with all our gang, Jayda, especially, no, they can't have her running about stirring the pot and upsetting the whole electoral process. So they pull out the stops and they make it difficult and they make it really hard and they lean on printers. And we've got to deal with, Jayda, you've been dealing with this for 10 years, I've been dealing with it for gutsy 40 years, next the same. People don't understand this is what we go through. Just to get, you would just jump in your car, go down to printers, get stuff done, go home, have a cup of tea, forget about it. No, not for us, is it? It's never like that. Never like that. It's a nightmare. And then they wait till the last minute, then they just send you a wee letter, we've refunded your money, or a wee email, don't they? A wee text, refunded your money, no explanations. They've done it with me, Jayda, with the windows recently, the windows of our church. 6 months we've waited, and then the guy goes, nah. Just, what? So everything for us, everything for Jayda is complex, it's time consuming, it's the nerve wracking. Because you're sitting in a tenterhooks you don't know, and then at 11 o'clock at night you get a text saying, no thank you. And you've got 40 hours or something, 38 hours to get it done. It's not easy. So I sympathise with you. Your nerves must have been jangling for a while trying to get stuff.
And that is exactly what happened with both of the leaflets. Remember, we had another leaflet cancelled. So right up at the 11th hour, we put it through to certain printers. They took the job and then they took the money. They took payment.
Yeah.
Right? They took payment. This is the other thing that keeps happening. They take payment. You go through a system of uploading artwork. It's all checked, all the rest of it. Then someone who doesn't want that job to go ahead finds a reason to stop it. And literally, this has happened every time. This happens to me a few times. And I've called you and spoken to you about it, Jim, because I'm normally like, raging, screeching, gone full Fransen creature screechy. And they've always, every single time, they've always emailed me right at the close of business when they're about to go home saying, oh, by the way, that breaches our terms and conditions. We're not printing it. We'll send you a refund. So then I'm then waiting for however many days. So the weekend could pass. It could be Monday or Tuesday before I even get that money back. So I'm then scrapping around trying to find the money. And this was exactly what I didn't want to risk other people's money. And so that's why I said, right, I'm gonna buy these, because I actually didn't think I was gonna get them. I know Charles Hope said earlier as well. He's surprised that we got them. I didn't think we were gonna get these, and we did.
Very surprising. Well, I can tell you, one of the reasons that printer you got to use, they've done the same with us. The one that actually did it, they refused to print one of your stuff once, and we hit them with the special legislation that we've got in Northern Ireland and said, not just Northern Ireland, but it could be against European law. And we served them with a load of paperwork and frightened the life out of them. So I think they print anybody's, they just don't want involved in the legal stuff.
Just do it.
But it's just do it. Oh, to hell with that, because it's too much aggro. But it's ridiculous that we have to go through this stuff. It really is ridiculous. But I hope people watching this understand you're not involved in a normal party here. You're not involved with a normal person here. This is only for the boldest, the bravest, or, as another person said to me, the thickest, the stupidest, and the most stubborn. Whatever, you take your pick, you decide which is. But it's true. Normal people wouldn't do this. They wouldn't put themselves through this. But today, we've got a great cause of celebration. I'm very, very, I'm cock a hoop. I think it's brilliant. They're all running about to watch all the Reds and the lefties and hope not, hate not, run about scratching their wee heads, thinking, what happened? What's going on? What does this mean? Because she never got elected. But there was a 20-fold increase in people spoiling the ballots. Oh my goodness, she's actually trying to undermine democracy. That's what they believe, and they're right. But this is what we have now is not democracy. You filthy, scummy elites destroyed democracy probably 50 years ago. So don't blame Jayda Fransen. What she's trying to do is pull down the walls of the ivory towers so that we can storm, like the revolution in France, we can storm the ivory towers, we can storm the Bastille and set up something proper in the future. So well done, Hen. Brilliant.
Thank you very much. And and well done to everyone who was involved, and God bless you all. It was great. And you listen, roll on the next one. I can't wait. Everybody's been so excited today. And I've also had lots of new people get in touch saying, not new people, but people that haven't been out doing canvassing before saying, I cannot wait. Next time you're out, doesn't matter which constituency you stand in, I want to come and do canvassing. Come and do it. It's great. I'm always there. You know, you're always
crack,
out.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's great crack. It's great fun. And then afterwards we have a little bit of banter. We have a sit down, a chat. We had a bite to eat the other day. Oh my gosh, I've never eaten so much food in my life. But you meet salt of the earth people, and that is what really we need.
Well, I'm off to Dublin tomorrow, and we're having a convoy. We're going to Dublin, then coming back, going to Belfast. But the cops aren't stupid. I guarantee you they blocked the motorway, and I'll be sitting on the motorway, busting for the toilet for 4 hours outside Lisburn, cross-eyed, and it will be good. But I'm going anyway because it's good crack.
Yeah, well, and
I'm going to take some papers. I've got some papers left.
Well, this, but listen, you must have had your new consignment now. This is I was going to get on.
I have, but again, the consignment I got was nearly all spoken for.
Oh,
people are going mental. Listen, people are threatening me with violence to get their hands on these papers, big fellas. So I'm saying, right, fine. This guy today took 1,000. We Brendan took 1,000. I've got a load of money, but these papers are bonkers. But tell me this, because I know how difficult it is and how fickle people can be sometimes. Have you got lots away?
Well, let me tell you what happened. We did the first print run in January. By the 12th of January, so on the 1st of January, I said, "There's a big announcement coming. I'm going to tell you on New Year's Day." On the 1st of January, I said to everybody, "We're launching a new newspaper. this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be called Freedom, and we're going for it. And everybody was like, yes, let's do it, which I was really happy about because I didn't know what the reception was going to be. By the 12th, we had the first print run of 30,000 of those newspapers.
Yep.
Within 2 weeks and 3 days, we had run out. It is incredible. So these have been flying out. Now, we did we allocated a load of these. We put them to one side for Southend West. And whilst we were giving these out, we were giving these out in the constituency as well. So that's fantastic. Thousands of people in Southend West also got the paper, which is great. But we had none left. It was like gold dust, right? So again, we had to make a decision. And I spoke to Nick Griffin about it. We actually got him on the show. We had to make a decision. This issue is January, February. It's a bi-monthly newspaper. It's every 2 months. This is Jan, Feb. We've got two options. We either could have said, right, it's not even the end of January. We've got a week and a half left of January, but we've sold out. So we just wipe our mouths and wait until March and lose out the whole of Feb. Or
never.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't, obviously you can imagine, that's not what I wanted to do. But I did actually want to get other people's opinion on it. And Nick, far more eloquently than I'm about to, but pointed out that, momentum at the moment is even more imperative that we keep this going because we can't dangle the carrot and then the carrot disappears. No one in March is going to go, oh, where's that carrot? I think you did say it far more eloquently than that, by the way. But so anyway, we did a fundraiser for the second print run, and we are short actually. Look, you know this because the Templars have been very helpful. We got our second print run. We've had it delivered. Let me show everyone, just in case I didn't have enough to do this week in the middle of the election and all the rest of it. This is what turned up this week. So there you go. This actually
I've got the same.
Yeah.
I've got the same.
So this actually turned up on polling day, right? So polling day, imagine, this is crazy. So it's the week of the election. We're out canvassing, and polling day, 30,000 newspapers are due to turn up. But we had to do it and we had to commit. And I'm going to be quite candid here, and I hope you don't mind, but we didn't have enough time. We had to make a decision. We either put the order in and got them immediately so that we got consignments ready for this weekend and we've had a load sent out to people, or we missed out. And we missed out on another batch of freedom rallies. And so we did what we had to do. We've had to get some of that on tick, as you well know. And we're very grateful to the Templars for all of their help. We need to recoup that money. We're on the back foot from January because January, there was so much to do. There was elections and newspapers and second prints and all these things that they just kind of took off. So we are on the back foot there. But I trust we can rake that back in.
Would you know what I would suggest to your people, Jayda? This is what I would suggest. Because I know your people are very generous and they've been very good. But instead of just saying, right, okay, Jayda's in a bit of a bind, which she is, throw a few pound in. Why don't you get something for your money? Why don't you buy 100 or 200 papers? Because remember, this woman is physically having to deal with these papers. She's having to move them about, manipulate. I mean, that's 4 pallets of papers. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about here, but I've got a couple of pallets and I've got to store them in my daughter's garage, and it's madness. So instead of just saying, well, look, there's 40 quid or 50 quid or 100 quid or £20, whatever. No, buy papers. Buy the papers. That means Jayda clears any outstanding bills and invoices. You've got the papers and you have to get them out. Give them to your friends, give them to your neighbours. Do you think that's a better idea? So come on, folks, let's get this show on the road.
Let me let people know what they can do, actually. I don't know if I can do this because, again, my technophobia is not ideal for these situations. But if you go onto the website, folks, as I'm sure you've all done many, many times, you'll see that the newspaper, we've got issue 1 is for sale on the website. And let me see, maybe I can bring this up. I think I probably can. I'm very technical these days. There you go. Right. I don't know, actually, can you see that? Yeah, you can. I might have to get... hold on. Let me get rid of...
Me now.
Oh, no. I don't know if I can. I was getting excited there, but I think I messed that up. All right, let's go back to the main. If you go onto the website, onto the page, I'm just going to reel off some of the figures because I don't know them off the top of my head. I should do, but I don't. So here's what I was... And you hit the nail on the head there. Rather than saying, right, let's try and fundraise the rest of what we need to pay off the backlog.
Papers.
I would rather say we do all of this at cost, right? But if you can get the papers out, again, it just it all works out. I know it's a strange thing because we take the money up front to fund the actual print, but getting them out as well is beneficial to us. So now we've actually gone up to 400. So you can get 100, 200 or 400. The difference between 200. So 200 is one bundle. And I think I've shown everyone a picture of a bundle in our emails. It's nothing. You know what a bundle's like. I can lift easily. I hold a bundle in each hand, right? They're tied up with little white cable ties. And
I can't.
I'm sure you can.
I'm getting old.
I'm sure you can. So to get a bundle of 200 is just this is to cover the postage. It's £35 for postage. But we've started now doing 400, so it's 2 bundles for 45 quid. And
what?
Yeah, they go out we send them out DPD, so you get an email to say when they're coming. And not only is it helping to try and recoup, but it's getting them out of the office, which is superb, and it's doing the job that they're meant for, which is to distribute them to the masses and educate the masses, and because that's what they were there for, right? That's why we.
Well, how I mean that getting them out of the office is vital as well, because folks, imagine if you had an office, small office, you're running a wee business, a wee party, whatever you want to do, and 2 tons, 4 pallets of newspaper turn up. You can't leave them in the street. They're in that office. The woman is literally, she won't see this because she'll think it's a bit much, but I know for a fact she's literally climbing over them, sitting on them. She's fashioned a chair out of them because the chair can't be there. The chair's outside, out the back. So she's actually living with these papers as office furniture. Can't go on. It's got to, we've got to get the papers.
If anybody actually could see, like, I daren't even
madness.
do it. But
I've seen it. It's
actually
crazy.
Showed people I might
bonkers.
do it just for the. I might actually just.
It's
for the
not
crowd.
right, but we need to get the papers
send
out.
it to our people privately, but I might put it on air. But anyway,
No,
I
that's
think
a great price, Jayda. I mean, you can get 200 for 35 quid, right? One bundle. You can get 2 bundles, 400 papers for 45 quid. Now that helps Jayda out of a bind, and it helps her be functional in her office. It's a double whammy. So please, folk, Dowson's on his knees. Dowson's begging you. Please, don't. This is new, right? This is new. Don't send money to Jayda Fransen. Buy papers. Can you ever heard the like it in your life, a Scotsman? I need to go and lie down. Buy papers instead. Get the papers bought. Look, what you do is your business, but I would hope you would get them out. Buy the papers. Clear. Get Jayda's bills sorted out, and get the papers in your house and not in her office. It really is important. Who's going to do it?
We've got February, right? So this is our new print run, is to get us through February. So let's do it. We smashed it in January. We within 3 weeks we sold out. So if we do that in February, guess what's coming in March is issue 2. I've already got people. I've had so many people saying, "When's the next issue? What's it going to say? What's the headline?" And I'm like, you have to wait and see. I already like, we don't finish the by-election and then go, "Oh, I think I might have a little chill out." No. Immediately onto the next campaign. Like, it never
100%.
ever stops. So I want to shift the rest of issue 1 that we've just got in. And there are so many rallies. You said about this convoy. There are convoys across Scotland. There are convoys from the north of England to the south of England or to London. There are convoys in Wales, obviously in Ulster or Northern Ireland, into the Republic even. These are perfect events. Manchester, Bournemouth, Leeds, Newcastle, Liverpool, London, all of them. And that's happening this weekend, and it will continue to happen. So if people do get their couple of bundles, they're so... the guys can tell you from Southend West, we actually distributed thousands of these newspapers, and we were getting to the point where we were like, who's been keeping count of the bundles? Now, I had the bundles in my car, right? So I knew how many were in the boot, and they were stacked a certain way. And at the end of it, we did a count to see what we'd done. And even we were like bowled over. We were like, did we actually do that many? It's incredible. Once you get on a roll, get in a little system, get them nicely rolled up. They go straight through people's letterboxes. And not only are you doing a good turn for us because it's spreading the word, you're doing a good turn for the people, because that's what this is for. It's for helping.
Me and Margaret got 1,700 handed out last Saturday. Me and Margaret, 1,700, 1,700, and my son, 1,700, almost 2,000. Well, people came up and asked for bundles, so if you add all of them together, we get ready 2,300 or 400, 2,500 out ourselves. Yeah. So it can be done. And do you know what bothers me sometimes? And I'm not suggesting your people are like this, but some will be. People say, yeah, let's do it. Let's get on to it. Let's get ripped into this. Let's do it. And they're all up for it. Then the paper's coming in, they go, oh, well, I'll have 2. I'll send me one.
I know.
Come on, folks. We really need to get wired into this. We're on a high. We're on a roll. We're kicking the proverbial out of the establishment big time. And these papers, I know, I've got contacts, shall we say, who are not our way inclined. And they're saying, what in God's name are these papers about? They're everywhere. They are freaked out by them. Lefties, mad lefties, trade unionist lefties, they're freaked out. So we're doing the business, and then with the election today and the spoiled ballots, they're having a meltdown. So come on, rejoice. But we can only do that if we make it work. And the only way it works is you need to get the papers. You need to get them. It provides finance, and it provides coverage, and it involves you more. So you're not just sitting there yabbling, talking a load of old Tommy Rot. You're actually an operator. Look, we don't need talkers in this game. We need operators, all right? So get the papers. And if you ain't got the papers, I'm going to say you're too polite. But if there's anybody watching this and you don't have a bundle of papers, why not? The hell's wrong with you? Get these papers. They've been printed for you, not for the benefit of the woman's health or mine. They've been printed for you. You have to play your part now. Step up to the mark, please.
I think that was still quite polite, but I completely agree. And look, it's another way for us to hit the ground. I want to keep the momentum going now. We've been this latest campaign, I hope, has inspired a lot of people. I hope it has shown people that have been very confused about the way forward. Because when we launched the British Freedom Party, myself, yourself, Nick Griffin, we have all done these shows. We've spoken to people about how, politics is a different beast now. It's changed. It's different. It's over. The game is over. Yeah. The jig's up. And that sounds like we're blackpilling, but we've said no. There's more to be done now, right? Because it's unconventional.
No surrender.
We've got to start thinking out of the box. And so that's exactly what we've been doing. So I hope after today, people are inspired and people realize that they belong to a movement that is actually making a difference. That we could stand in elections and play toy politics and, pretend these kind of, I don't even know. I don't know how anyone still buys into it. We could go along with all that nonsense, or we could be the ones that say, you know what? We know it's all nonsense. We know it's all rigged. These people are all corrupt. What we're going to do is we're going to do our level best to disrupt the whole corrupt process. And today has proven that if we all come together, we can do just that. So I hope everybody's as motivated as I am.
Well, see, you get called a black pillar. So they are. And this is by people who have been in politics as long as the curry I got the other night's been in my fridge. They haven't a clue. So I'm not surrendering. Jayda's not surrendering. Nick Griffin's not surrendering. But what is really stupid is doing the same stupid things that fail every time. That's daft. You want to go and do that, you go and do it. We are the spirit of no surrender. Not surrender then, now, or ever. No surrender, ever. We will fight. Listen, as a great Serbian general said when the Germans attacked in the First War, he said, shoot them with your rifle. When you're on out of bullets, stab them with your bayonet. When your bayonet snaps, smash them over the head with a rifle. When the rifle breaks and you're lying on the ground, bite their ankles. And then if you have no teeth, they've kicked your teeth out, trip them up with your dead corpse. But we'll never, ever surrender. That's what we're about. Yeah. And guess what? Nobody can beat us. Nobody can beat Jayda. Nobody can beat us because we're fighting to the death. They won't. They're cowardly rats. And your people are great supporting you. I know they are. But they need to understand they've got a big role to play. I want to empower your people by telling them tonight, get papers, stand up, stand tall, and shout out, no surrender, with that paper in your hand. There's how you do it. No surrender. Get the papers, folk. Come on! You're part of a winning team now. Let's go.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Winning team. People belong to something real now, and I'm so pleased. Margaret's going to get 400. God bless you, Margaret. Right, listen, Mr. Dowson, I'm going to let you go because we've kept you for nearly an hour, but it's been wonderful. As always, it's been a pleasure having you on, and thank you. I could talk to you for hours. And I want to say thanks to you as well, because, I did bother you a bit when I was sending over some of these designs. I sent them over to you and said, what do you think? And I'm sure at the beginning you thought, this woman is insane. This woman is insane. But I
am almost a saint, you know that.
Well, there you go. But no, look, it's been brilliant, and we're going to get Nick Griffin on the show next week as well. I had Nick on the phone this morning, and he was saying, look, he said the same thing as you, right? We spoke this morning, and he said the same thing as you. He's like, wow. He said, Jayda, have you seen this? Like, have you seen? And he said,
he was on the phone to me at 8 o'clock in the morning, woman. I was trying to eat, and he's on the phone to me in the morning, ranting and raving. Have you seen this?
It's brilliant. I know, and that's us. So you can imagine, right? We're all in, like this morning, I spoke to a few of our people as well. Danny was on the phone and we were like, yes, this is great. Like, look at this. And then as we started unraveling the figures and realizing how big this actually was, I was thinking, now I'm starting to feel bad for the left, because now I know this is going to be pure meltdown. And that's when the headlines started trickling through. And I thought, this is what...
Well, do you know what Robin Tilbrook said? Now, he's the leader of a party who stood and didn't do very well. Robin Tilbrook, who's the chairman of the English Democrats, said the real winner was the spoiled ballots.
Wow,
he said that. He put an email out tonight. I seen it. I just read it. The real winner was the spoiled ballots. That's the winner of the Southend West by-election. And that was you and your gang. Well done.
Wow. Well, there you go. Excellent. Well done to everyone. Thank you very much. I will let you go. Have a lovely weekend, Jim. Stay safe tomorrow. Enjoy the convoy and the traffic jam.
I'm getting my cowboy boots looked up.
Get the papers out.
The papers will be going out. Freedom, no surrender. If you come off this show tonight without a paper, we'll be round at your door. So get them. God bless you. So have a lovely weekend.
All right. God bless you.
Bye-bye. God bless.
All right, everyone. You've all been threatened by Jim Dowson. So there you go. Only live on the British Freedom Party show, where you get mass threatening. But look, thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. And I hope everybody's had a great day. I think it's been a great day. It's been a great campaign. We've had so much going on in and amongst this campaign as well. But it just goes to show. And I always believe, and I'm gonna say, look, I know obviously Jim said well done, Jayda, and I said well done to the team, and we're all saying well done to each other, and props to everyone who got involved. But all glory be to God. Has anybody noticed there is a trend when we put our absolute everything, and that's the only way that I'll do things, right? I don't half-ass anything. I don't do things by halves. It's never been me. That's why they call me an extremist. And I'm quite happy to be called an extremist, because I do everything to 110%. That's what I do. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in and do it. And if you notice that when we put all of our effort into a campaign, when we put our heart and our soul and everything we can, and we all get behind it, have you noticed that these gifts seem to happen? Now, I all glory be to him, right? I always say that. But I do not think it's a coincidence that such a young party with such finite resources and really with a lot to battle against keep finding ourselves in remarkable situations, from chasing Nicola Sturgeon and that making worldwide headlines to now a mass meltdown and an unparalleled rise in spoiled ballots because of our bold campaign. So I just want to say, I think for me, what I always take from that is we must be grateful for all of these gifts, and we must keep going, and we must always keep going to the best of our ability, because that's what's required of us. We can't get complacent. We can't afford to. God doesn't do half in, half out. He wants all or nothing. And I'm happy to give absolutely everything. So I'm absolutely delighted. What a fantastic way to end the week. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. If you're going to freedom rallies and freedom convoys, and stay safe, get the papers out, do some networking, talk to people, get some contacts, build some contacts, get people on board, tell them that you're a member of the British Freedom Party, tell them that you want them with us. And let's do this, people. God willing, I will be back with you all on Monday at 7 p.m. So please do try and join me then. But until then, everyone, stay safe and stay sane. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday. God bless.